Now, in our book section, Paul Nyamuda, he's not only an author, but an organizational psychologist, a motivational speaker that goes around the continent and beyond, talking about leadership and social intelligence. He holds titles such as Business God's Way, a study of organizational leadership, and, and those desiring to do business God's way, conversing and building a healthy marriage, one conversation at a time. And of course, the redreaming, dreams do come true, just to mention a few. Now, Paul Nyamuda joins us now to talk more about his books. A very good morning to you, Mr. Nyamuda. Thank you so much, and welcome to Working Live.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
All right. You're such a busy man. Now, briefly talk us through some of the books that I've just mentioned.
All right. Business God's Way. I strongly believe that God has got something to say about all of life. He's not limited to the four walls of a church. And I'm very passionate about that. And one of the things that I cover here is I try to show people that smartness alone doesn't make you successful. There's what I call the other stuff. And that's things like resilience, things like emotional intelligence, integrity, the ability to build trust, because it's business at the speed of trust. People buy from brands they have an emotional connection with. People buy from brands that they trust. And I cover these type of topics in this book, Business God's Way.
What inspired each title, and how are all these three titles interlinked?
They're interlinked because it's about life. It's about life and applying life principles into every aspect, every domain, as it were. And one of the things that inspired this was I feel like my calling in life is an obligation. A lot of people don't accomplish their life call because they don't see it as an obligation. And so if you look at the title Conversing, it's called Conversing, Building a Healthy Marriage, One Conversation at a Time. Every relationship is built one conversation at a time. And if you think about it, people study 6-7 years to be a doctor. But often when I do weddings, people will come to me and say, oh, we need premarital counseling, but maybe it's 6 weeks before, you know? And I feel like if these principles are learned beforehand, people just go to their next level. Redreaming, powerful title. We started dreaming at a young age as little children, but then something happens, life happens, and then we stop dreaming. So that's why I entitled it Redreaming. But a lot of people remain in the realm of wishful thinking, and they never make their dreams a reality. And that's why I cover topics like being a doer, being diligent, being disciplined, being deliberate, being devoted to the thing you're called to. I cover that in that particular book. So the essence and the thread throughout these books is basically how to make your dreams a reality in business, in marriage, and also in life in general.
So the transition from being a psychological or organizational psychologist to an author, how was it?
Well, you know what? When you study for a long time, you're always doing academic writing. And then in consulting, since 2000, I've been in consulting. And my clients will always say to me, Paul, can you develop this material for us? So that's really how it started. Teaching in Bible schools, preaching a lot in church. You're always developing material. So some people say, Paul, you've written so many books. You've been, it's now about 24. And I just say, well, that's what I do all my life. I'm always speaking. I'm always sharing material with people. And so it's natural. And I think Africa needs more writing, We've got a strong oral tradition. But in order to preserve our knowledge, we need books.
Now, Mr. Nyamuda, how do you strike the balance between religion and the corporate world? Because it seems that those two interfaces are two worlds apart.
Okay, I believe in a principle called the principle of moral unity. You know, many people will say, oh, there's business ethics, and then there's ethics in general. But no, it's the principle of moral unity. It's all ethics. It's all integrity. So I can't be one person in business saying, oh, it's business now. I suddenly change it. I'm a different person. Then, oh, I'm in church now. It's all about me. Who am I when no one is watching? So.
All right. You are also a leading insights facilitator. You are also a lecturer at the Gordon's Institute for Business Science. And you've been accepted as an associate for the Center for Creative Leadership. Do you find time for your pastoral duties?
That's really a priority for me. I'm very blessed that in the work we do ministerially, we've got such a great team. And I've tried to raise up teams of leaders. That's my passion. That's what servant leaders do. It's not just about getting results through people, but it's the people who are around you, who are under you. Have they grown as people in the process? And a lot of them are doing a great job. So I'm very blessed. I've surrounded myself with the right people.
You've given motivational talks in Africa, the UK, in the Europe. What motivated you to take on such a project like this?
Well, you know what? I've been very fortunate because at a young age, I was given opportunities in consulting where I'm 42 now, but I started consulting at about 23 3 or so, and I was dealing with top leaders, so it gave me that confidence. I felt like I had something to say. So when I would be invited to various nations, various regions, I would go, because the message is the same throughout. When I'm on the African continent, I emphasize it to the issues we need to address here. Someone once said the problems we face today are because of yesterday's issues. You know, the solutions we're trying to bring about are because of the problems from the past. And so I apply my teachings to the different contexts.
And what sort of feedback have you received from people?
What I've loved is people have said to me, Simpiwe, Paul, you know what, we thought we were doing a management course, but this was a life course. This is about life. The principles can be applied to our marriage, to our parenting, to all of life. That's what people will say. They say, Paul, you unlocked something deep inside of me.
Yeah. In Conversing, building a healthy marriage in particular, one conversation at a time, you also mention how to communicate your needs to your spouse.
Great.
How indeed? How do you do that?
I'm really glad you've mentioned that, because on the 24th of June, I'm doing a couples breakfast, actually, dealing with that very particular topic. What I found is a lot of people, Simpiwe, they don't actually communicate their needs because they feel they're making themselves vulnerable. They feel like their spouse will minimize those particular needs. Some people, their self-esteem is so low that they think, you know what, am I being over the top now by communicating my needs?
Exactly.
So instead,
that on the part of self-esteem, how then do couples, especially those who are reserved, those who are shy, communicate their needs to their spouses and partners?
Right. So what you do is you basically say to them, you know what, in my marriage, I have a need to feel admired by my spouse. And then you highlight the behaviors associated with that need when that need is being met. So I would say to my wife, when you quote me when you're teaching, that need is met. When you tell your parents about my achievements, that need is met. When you ask for advice in difficult situations, that need is met. And that's such an important alternative to protesting. Most couples find themselves protesting. So you've got these needs, but then you find yourself being nitpicky and saying, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. Instead of actually saying, honey, I'm really missing you. Honey, I just want more couch time with you. Without the kids, let's just dream together.
Yeah. All right, redreaming. Dreams do come true. I'm particularly interested in one section of that book where we talk about we are not to boast about our future. What if we have a brighter future? Why shouldn't we boast about it?
All right. So when I say we shouldn't boast about our future, I'm talking about boasting in our own strength. We should definitely make declarations about our future. In fact, I did that. In 2004, I wrote down some affirmations. And I said, as a world-class communicator, I'm so grateful that my books are influencing people on the continent. I only did my first book in 2005, but 2004 I'd made that as a statement, a prophetic statement of the reality I wanted to see. And then when you focus on that, it then happens. But I wasn't giving myself the glory. I wasn't saying like it's because of my own strength and my own ability. I was recognizing that God was the one who would empower me to be able to do those things. So I'm saying don't boast as if you know everything that's going to happen. Right? But rather boast in God's work in you.
Right. And you also quoted, about that particular subject, you quoted the book of James 4:13-15. So, this offering is especially for the Christian community?
No, it's for everyone. I'm so used to teaching in church and also at the same time doing a lot of business work and so on. If you look at a lot of my seminars, you'll find that in church settings, I've got the verses and so on, and I go deep into the scriptures. In other settings, I remove the verses, but the principles are still as powerful. I don't have to have said John 1:16 says to make it powerful. I share the principles throughout. So I'm used to doing that. It's really for everyone.
All right. Pastor Nyamuda, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much,
Simpiwe.
All right, that
Appreciate
is
it.
Organizational psychologist, motivational speaker, and an author of books such as Business God's Way, Conversing, Building a Healthy Marriage, One Conversation at a Time, and Redreaming, Dreams Do Come True.